good. This should be fired up. Microphones to become compliant here for you. But we are back today in Washington, D.C. We are just out walking around. It's starting to rain a little bit here in Washington. Going to get you, once we can get this guy up and going, we should be set, I believe. There we go. Okay, wonderful. But my name is Alden Nance. We are back here in Washington, D.C. for a Friday episode of Awoken with Alden. Happy Friday, Awoken, and good morning. Happy to be back with you. All right, let's just try that for now until I can get the microphones all going. But yeah, we're here in Washington, D.C., everybody. Kristi Noem was axed from the Department of Homeland Security yesterday. Pretty big deal when it comes to that. The highest ranking cabinet member official up to this point to be removed. So we're going to be discussing the immediate consequences over that and some of the more, maybe more short-term consequences as well. Also, it's day, now we're on to day 7 of the war in Iran. Seems to be kind of at a spot to where the long game is in question a little bit. Like, we're not sure what the U.S. is going to want to be doing here long term when it comes to this body. So happy to take your questions. Sorry about this little microphone screw up. But my name is Aulden Nance. I worked in the U.S. Senate for 2 years for a United States Senator. Now I'm here starting this channel, trying to make a difference in a different, unique way for Washington, D.C. We are here this morning. There's the Senate Hart Building over there, and you have the Heritage Foundation, the right-wing think tank, right there as well. So we're going to be walking around DC, checking out some different buildings, different organizations involved in politics. And first, I need to get this microphone figured out. Be a happy Friday, everybody. Happy Purple Friday. You made it another week, so congratulations. Just gotta make it through today, and you'll have your fun weekend plans set up for you. And happy to be here with you for that. So here, I'm about to get this microphone thing figured out. One moment. All right, that sound better, everybody? I think we should be Gucci now. Let's go. Okay, Mr. M says it's muted. Deidre 8378 says they don't say judge a book like it's covered, but man, you look like a scammer. How so? Why so? What do you say? And Amar 65, are you heading to Denny's? No, we are heading to the RNC in Washington, D.C. right now. The Reagan building where the NRSC, the senators will gather there and make political, when they're in Washington, you can't conduct political campaign tactics within your official office. So you need to go off campus, off site to do that. And we're going to be heading there right now. Mayor 65 says, what about the Air and Space Museum? No, man, you're good. It's just a little windy, so it's a little windy out in DC. The weather's not great, and it's rainy too, so it's just going to screw up my hair today. I'm gonna have to fix it once I get to work. But James Dillon 8765 says, what does Awoken mean? So Awoken is it is anti-woke, yes. However, it's more of that Washington, D.C., the city itself is not actually working for you. It's to wake people up to the realities of the city. I've lived here or I've been here, I should say, for coming up on a little better than 3.5 years now. And I've just seen a lot of stuff that is difficult to unsee, I should say. And 8378 says it's okay. Yeah, I already read that one. And what about the Air and Space Museum? I've been there before. It's really cool. If you're ever in DC, I would recommend going to it. I've been there. Yeah, probably anytime friends will come and visit, we will we'll check it out. Okay, Jesus says, well, you got that Kirk haircut. What's up, Unc? Yeah, bro, I need to get an actual haircut here. I'm in a wedding in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, I need to probably get it next week or something. It's getting a little long. Now, that's for sure. And it's getting to where, like, wind like today, it's all over the place. And Hank says, laughing, bunch of crying, laughy face emojis, and says, we feel sorry for you. Yeah, man, DC is a different animal, for sure. But happy to take any of your guys' questions. So a little bit more about the show and the channel is that I started this channel probably 3 to 4 months ago now, just a few months ago. I host a political talk show every Tuesday and Wednesday night. We also, I do deep dives into different countries, geopolitics, all that stuff. So would appreciate if you guys subscribe to the channel, leave the video a like. That's the best way you can support me. We're trying to push for 400 subscribers. James Dillon says, have a great day. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate you, brother. You as well. Happy Friday. And so, yeah, started the channel a few months ago, right? Where I'm trying to wake people up to the realities of Washington, D.C. People know what's really going on. Here, yeah, I'll show y'all street. A little construction going on here. This is like the Noma neighborhood. We're really close to the U.S. Capitol building. Okay, got a question from Black Peter. So what do you do? So right now for my professional work, when I'm not doing this, I am at a company. We help a bunch of nonprofits with their accounting and campaign contributions and campaign compliance in the DC area. So that's what I do for my day job. So good question. Yeah. But I used to work in the U.S. Senate for 2 years. I worked for a senator from Indiana, did healthcare policy, introduced a couple of bills as well. So did some cool stuff there. But now just kind of seeing how broken the swamp really is, it's time to, I need to awake the masses, right? The masses in this country to help change things. Okay, let's go to, man, I'm gonna need to buy hair gel or something, shit. Where do you bring the cocaine to? That's a good question. How much do you want and where should we meet for it? I'm just goofing with you. But no, I have been trying to find where all of the most corrupt members or people in the city, where their secret, house is and where they do all the cocaine. So Miles says, I refuse to move there. Yeah, man, like the swamp is the swamp. It's a whole, if you essentially imagine all 50 states crammed in a city that's about 6 miles, a 6 mile radius, more or less. So, a lot of crazy stuff there. So here, I'm gonna get the poll for today. All right, wonderful. So, yeah, our main poll is going to be talking about war in Iran once again. So please feel free to participate in that. Share what you think about the conflict. Okay, got a couple new comments. Look at his face. Yeah, man, it's pretty windy out here today. So I'm gonna need to get that figured out or something. Ken says, good morning, up at 395, I see. Yes, I was able to, I got the Uber Eats driver last night to subscribe to be 395. So I'm advertising every second of the day to grow the channel. So we're ascending now. Yeah, good morning, Z, as well. Welcome back, brother. Wonderful to see you again on the stream this morning. Patriot 3133 asked, why attack on Iran? Why? That's a good question. I think a lot of people are asking that same question in America, but it's yeah. We got a fish dude. Too bad that question is wrong. It's not a war. Well, no, I think, I think killing the supreme leader is a pretty ballsy move there. And it's not going to end any time in the near future, I think, either. So, um, um, Catchings 7062 says, good morning. Good morning, Catchings. Thank you for joining the stream this morning. Appreciate you being here. Ryo Bubo says, responds to Patriot because of BB Yahoo. Patriot says they targeted a girls' school and killed 150 students. Sean Baird 3120 says no fighting for Israel. Frog Stomp 11 says good morning, sir. And Z says last few days have been quiet. Yeah, it seems like there is a slight, maybe both sides are kind of recalculating their next move, I'd say, potentially. Because, yeah, like, the problem is, like, that's why we've talked about the curb, or not the curb, the Kurds, maybe having a ground invasion from the Kurds. But the problem is Iran still has a 1 million man army between the IRGC, other security forces, and their standard military. So if we leave now, that means there is no regime change. So there's going to have to be some kind of ground operation to actually degrade and rip apart the remaining part of this regime, or we wouldn't have accomplished our objectives when it comes to the conflict. Because we saw President Trump in that Friday speech last Friday, once we launched attacks, he urged for the Iranian people to overthrow their government and seek, it's a regime change war. So if we leave now, we leave without accomplishing our objectives. So, and that would be a propaganda win for the regime, for the Iranian regime. So there's really only one way left. We either leave now and lose, or we continue. So yeah, this will go on for a little while, I think. But we're just gonna have to see. That's why it's just kind of one day at a time with this now. I think Saturday was obviously a big day because there were some booms, right? The supreme leader, his compound was leveled, other personnel were eliminated, but at least in this immediate next few days, it seems Iran has kind of been able to stabilize on its feet and not get worse, I'd say. But it's just going to be really, it's just going to be day by day, I'd say, with that. Okay, got a couple of new comments here. Ryo says now you have the whole country against. What's up, Carson? What's going on, dog?
I'm gonna watch when I get free time today. I'm gonna watch that podcast outside the hearing.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm streaming right now too. So yeah, let's go, dude. Yeah. All right, man. Yep. I'll see ya. Yeah. There we go. I'm always meeting new fans and my fans in Washington, D.C., no matter where I'm walking. So we are building something special here. Okay. Sean also says it's not our war, and it's always older people wanting to go to war. Z says, Hank, are you just going to keep older people? Or wait, Z says, excuse me, I combined those two comments. Hank, do you have anything of value to add, or you're just going to keep spamming emojis, big dog? Frog Stump 11 says, Hank can't use words. Blackest Bowling says, a local celebrity. Yes, it is. I'm starting to grow that profile for sure here in DC, because lots of people I don't know many other people that have kind of my former experience working in the Senate for a couple of years, being such involved in political campaigns that have since swapped over to the media side of politics, with having this channel and podcast and whatnot. And Enigma says, well, it's inevitable. Yeah. So yeah, guys, would love, if it's your first time on the live stream, would love to encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel. We host streams like this most weekday mornings. Tomorrow on Saturdays, there's usually always some kind of protest that I will go to. We'll do Man on the Street. We'll have a stream at these protests as well. So here's Union Station for you. And if it's your first time on stream, would love if you leave a like as well. We have a great little comment section developing today. Already have 80 votes on the poll for war in Iran. So Tep says lose, damn. And then Mike says, why you leave the Senate? So my boss, he took the senator I worked for was elected to another position that was outside of the Senate. So his term expired, and I really moved to Washington, D.C. to try to help him. I really believe in him, still believe in him as a politician and as a man. I think he's very authentic. And there wasn't a next member that I really believed in that much. So I went into the private sector. I used to work for Senator Mike Braun of Indiana. He's now the governor of Indiana. I believe he's the 52nd governor. That's the state I'm originally from, is Indiana. So I really believed in Mike Braun. Great guy, excellent senator. Like, our staff were all from Indiana. A lot of the staffs on Capitol Hill are, let's say the senator is from Tennessee. Most of the staff is going to be from states other than Tennessee, for example. So we had a very authentic and real staff. So, and if it wasn't going to be for him, I'm not sure if I really want to, after learning how corrupt and just broken the Senate is, it wasn't all that attractive anymore. So, okay, got a couple of new comments. Good question, though, Tep. And Kobar is encouraging me to blackmail the senator. Filibuster the senator and then extort the governor with your legal prowess. I'm just a bill. Tucson says any senator. Tight. I don't know anything about him. Let me ask. How did you willingly participate in the PSYOP? That is U.S. politics in any capacity. Has to be nauseating, and I'm very disillusioned with our nation. So I'd say a lot of it was, I started out at the local level. So I started out to where it's not automatically as corrupt or blatantly corrupt, maybe. Might be a better way to describe it, as Washington, D.C. politics, because in local politics, it's really like your friends and your family are voters, right? Your neighbors, your community. So you kind of feel like you know the people more, I'd say, a little bit. But here in D.C., when you're dealing with, and also in local politics, there's no such thing as for your city council seat, unless if you live in like New York or L.A., there's not going to be a lobbyist that can threaten millions and millions of dollars against you. So at least in local politics, there's not that side of the corruption. There's still scandals, of course, right? People have affairs, people cheat, they see, whatever still. But here it becomes, I'd say, more obvious that it is just all so broken. And that led me to starting this channel, is to build people who understand that as well. And I'm someone who has been on the inside of it, inside of the system, and can effectively communicate this in a specific manner to people that haven't, like weren't in the Senate or maybe are as involved in politics. Tep says, word, I can respect that. Served in the Army. Thank you for your service. I like that honesty definition. Definitely earned a sub. Thank you. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm deeply honored for have earned your support. Okay, I got a couple of new comments. Trade on said, what up, homie? How's it going? Yeah, man, I'm doing here on the stream. Yeah, happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much for joining. And Nikki says, no, I'm trying to fix it now. Or I've always, even when I was in the Senate, like I still try to believe all I could, right? But eventually it's kind of like Santa Claus a little bit. When you're, once you reach that so many years old, you just kind of start kind of putting the pieces together. Same with U.S. politics up to a point, right? So, yeah, I'm trying to build this mass awakening to help people realize the truth about it. Bandit says, hey, Alden, bro. Hello, Bandit. Welcome back. So, yeah, guys, if Bandit has been one of the OG followers of this channel, Bandit has been here a long time. So give Bandit, put some W's in the chat for Bandit here. Wonderful patriot. Drawn says, can you do a backflip or a cartwheel? What's your favorite breakfast and nice weather out there? I can't do a backflip or cartwheel. I was a swimmer in college, so I was able, I was a lot more agile a couple years ago. Favorite breakfast? Give me scrambled eggs with some bacon and like a chocolate donut as well. So, and then nice weather out there. Yeah, it's not as cold as it has been, so it's a little better. Enjoy Life 2.1 says Iraq right in between. 1699 says no more wars for Israel, please. Tep says in Bandit. Enjoy Life says, I thought Iran and USA were allies. On the diplomatic level, we used to be allies before the 79 Iranian revolution. Once the Shah was overthrown by the mullahs, the communications have essentially ceased. So, Lumb222 says a new sub. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. Then 578 says, is it true that it's on war until we have boots on the ground? So I'm not, like, I'm calling it a war because I'm anticipating that as well. But I think killing the supreme leader, and when Trump in his speech that night effectively called for a regime change. So it's a regime change war, I'd say. And so this week, so I'm gonna put a poll out today on the community side of things, and I might do next week's Awoken Wednesday episode on the Kurds, because it's looking like overthrow this regime, there's going to need to be some ground invasion, right? We can bomb them a lot. We can have air superiority, but the Iranian population is not armed, and they're really not in a capacity to overtake government infrastructure and other key infrastructure, right? Iran still has a 1 million man army. They have the Revolutionary Guard, other security forces within the regime, and the standard Iranian military as well. So until those are neutralized, the regime really isn't going to change. So the next step is potential ground invasion. Okay, let's go to Not So Green says Trump has to stop kissing the Roman wall with Bibi. Drawn says, who are these people? Bear says, hello, Bear. Welcome back. Wonderful to see you again this morning. Bear is also becoming a strong supporter in the community, a returner. UMass says a bunch of libs in your chat. Anthony Cook, 2401, says the U.S. is using Kurdish boots on the ground and not their own. Stephen says the definition of war has to evolve with the times. It's a war. Victor 5190 says, why don't you say your own stance on this war? Yeah, good question. Here, I'll get to that in a moment. I also, and some of my recent live streams on my anchor show. So just for everybody that's new and joining the chat, I started this channel a couple months ago to help try and wake people up to the realities of Washington, D.C. And I host a political talk show every Tuesday and Wednesday night. We do deep dives, whether it's live election coverage, geopolitics, war coverage, Trump administration news. So you'll definitely want to subscribe so you can join those as well. These morning vertical streams are more of I'm walking around, chatting, getting to know you guys a little bit better as well. We'd still talk about politics, so would love if you hit that subscribe button and leave the video a like. We're having a great comment section today. Enjoy Life says, I hope USA will not, or I also heard USA will not win in Iran. Sleepy Time says, good morning, brother. Everyone, hello. How's everyone this morning? Not So Green says, keep out of other countries' business. Z says, hope clears that up. So I think Z and SYB are having a little side chat there. It's along with Stephen Wilson. Half Tracker 9822 says, Noem, I believe referencing Kristi Noem, dumbass, she wasn't fired, she was promoted. I'm not really sure about that. I disagree with you there. Man, BX8WL, words have meanings, war has not been declared. So many, yeah, Z, it's a little hostile of a chat today, but that's good. That means more people are joining the stream. Just some dude, it says it's war synonymous with illegal invasions now. Bandit says, good morning, Sleepy Time. Yeah, Sleepy Time is also a consistent returner as well. Ken is here a lot. Z is becoming a new wonderful member. So we're starting to build a solid foundation of people who are actually respectful and want to have chats about politics. All of us may not agree 1000% on every single issue, but we're willing to discuss about it as well. The Last Man says, me as your lawyer, I justice you not to talk about who started America since 1776. What say ye when their supreme leader of Iran declared war on America and the U.S. back in December 28, 2025? Z says my message got filtered. Um, uh, well, I don't see how it's a promotion. Like, she was removed from being DHS secretary. She's being replaced by Mark Wayne Mullen. And I know her new position is like she's an ambassador or something that doesn't require the same kind of, it's not a cabinet position. So, yeah, she was fired from DHS because at least here in DC, I'm not sure if you guys have heard, but there's like allegations that she's been sleeping around with Corey Lewandowski. And if you've been following politics for a little while, you may recognize that name. He was a advisor to Trump's 2016 campaign. But yeah, there's allegations that they've been sleeping around. There's also, if you watched the Senate hearing this week with Senator John Kennedy asking her about the $200 million ad campaign that featured her on the horseback in front of the Mount Rushmore. So there were a couple, the president was starting to get a little sick of it as well. So maybe she wasn't fired from the administration at a, all the way, but it's almost like a Mike Waltz kind of deal. Just moved to a different position that is not as meaningful. David says hi. Hello, David. Welcome to the stream. Good morning. 401k taking the a big hit with this war. Well, it's not gossip at all. It's very, if you're in DC, this is I've been hearing about that rumor since last spring. For around close to a year now, I've been hearing that they've been in an affair. The president it even got so public that on Air Force One, probably a month ago, a reporter asked President Trump if he had heard about it or had any thoughts on the allegations of the affair. So this is something that it might be breaking news to some people, but it has been swirling in Washington, D.C. for some time now. Everybody, good morning. So if it's your first time on the chat this morning, we have a pretty solid chat going this morning. We're already at 200 votes on the poll, so we're doing excellent there. Would love if you, so a little bit about myself. I worked in the U.S. Senate for 2 years for a senator from Indiana. I started the show and podcast about 3 to 4 months ago now. And yeah, we're out here and we walk around DC. So Capitol building is right, the trees are blocking it, but we'll get solid little view of the Capitol here in a moment. But just trying to help wake people up to the realities of Washington, D.C. And would love to get to know you. So would love if you subscribe to the channel, if you leave the video a like. And we're building this channel and community every single day. Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Anyone got any cool weekend plans going on? Okay, got a couple new comments. I have a lot to say about this, but after seeing this one video of a Marine vet that broke his hand yelling nothing wrong, and then seeing people who were like robots in the front I don't know. So yesterday morning we did our stream inside of the U.S. Senate building and the Hart Senate building, just a couple feet away from that committee room where that incident occurred. All right, the lapels, cool weekend. Let's see that jacket, homie. All right, we're all purple today. It's Purple Friday here. Here, let me actually get these bad boys on as well. Right, so we are here. It is Friday. We got the purple jacket on. Usually wear purple on stream nights as well. So thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, thank you. Swagged out on this Friday. But yeah, that was another pretty big escalation, I'd say. So yeah, back to the Gavin McGinnis or Brian McGinnis, the Marine that had his hand and arm broke in that committee hearing. So a little bit about, thank you guys, you're flattering me right now. But a little bit about the incident with Tim Sheehy and that Marine is that that particular Marine, so I worked in the Senate for 2 years, right? And I was at hearings with my boss and just would sit in on other hearings. And there would be people that would stand up and protest and voice their opposition against something, whether it was Gaza or maybe Donald Trump in general or something. But this person this Marine has, maybe he's a frequent occurrer, right? If you also look online, you could Google the Marine's name. I think it's Brian McGinnis. Google Brian McGinnis, Tom Tillis. So Brian, the Marine, is from North Carolina. He's running for Senate for the Green Party. And some time period ago, he was in a verbal altercation with Tom Tillis, the incumbent GOP senator from the state. So this isn't this individual's first time being there. So to defend the people that didn't look back, those guys, I believe they're all military generals. And if kind of like on the State of the Union, you know how the generals, they only clap when there's like a Medal of Honor or like the kid with leukemia is given an award, you know, something like that, right? It's against like the military code of justice, I believe, to be political or show any partisan leanings in uniform. So not wanting to like defend in that way, but that's like maybe why they didn't look back, because if they looked back, someone could have taken a picture and maybe, it could have violated their code of justice or something. So not wanting to defend that necessarily, but maybe wanting to provide some additional context for you guys with that. But I do agree, yeah, the senator, I think he made a mistake by doing that, because that's what the Capitol Police are for. That's their position. There were three men already. I was in the Capitol yesterday, in the Senate yesterday, and there are dozens, if not hundreds, of officers there at all times, even on Christmas, right? Even on 365. That place is always fortified. So I think he made a mistake by getting involved with that. He should have just let the Capitol Police escort him out. And now, yeah, he's at risk of being sued and like being found guilty of this. So he just kind of opened up a can of worms for himself there. Yeah, Z, I agree. Like, it's crazy that the dude didn't like scream in agony. It's almost like nothing happened. Like that, that dude is a very tough fella. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, what's wrong with the anime profile picture? Yeah, yeah. The Awoken community welcomes everybody who wants to put America first, and that loves America, and that wants to help preserve our country. Okay, so here's the Department of Labor building for you guys. So Capitol is now over here, and we got the Department of Labor over here. Do a little spin for you guys here in DC. So this way you get to the National Mall and like the Air and Space Museum over here. Here's like the National Gallery of Art, the Portrait Museum, and a lot of the other Smithsonians. Okay. Let's see. Oh, so you got a lot of great comments here, everybody. Yeah, would love if you guys subscribe to the channel. We're building this community every day. Tomorrow, we're going to try to hit up a protest, do man on the street interviews, and check out what's going on there, and just continue to build. Destroyer says, how many countries have, here, I'll go back up, read some of the, I gave it decently long, little spiel about the Tim Sheehy incident. Okay, so Zam is from Oman, and we need peace in the region. Welcome. Hope you're safe there, brother. Please stay safe. ZAQ says the civilian and region Persia, modern day Iran, are significantly older than the traditional biblical timeline for Abraham. So who are the Americans or Israelis to say anything? Lost my keys for real says Sheehy, I'm assuming referencing Sheehy, did make a mistake. And then we got Tep with Oman flag, Heart America. Destroyer says karma will strike back for everyone. So yeah, Zach, ZAQ. I did on this last Wednesday, 2 days ago, I did an episode on the entire history of Iran from Cyrus the Great, Alexander the Great, how Reza Shah in, I believe, 1935 made Iran called Iran instead of Persia. How his, like the 1943 Tehran conference, the Arabs versus Persian divide, the Sunni versus Shiite Muslim divide. So I think you'd really like that video. You should check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Also discuss like Ruhollah Khomeini and Ali Khamenei, their importance in the 1979 Iranian Revolution as well. How it's a theocracy, how the role of the Revolutionary Guard. So I think you'd appreciate that video. So would love if you checked it out. Just some dude says they weren't there on January 6th. Lion says, open your heart to Jesus. Lost my key says he didn't realize the pain in the moment. Some American flags from Z. Tep agrees. Destroyer says, how many countries have they destroyed? Yeah, Tep, yeah, I think so. Yeah, he needs, and see these posters in particular have been up for several months now, so you can see they're kind of getting a little, like losing some of that color a little bit, so they're going to need a redesign here at some point. And there's a couple other buildings now that there are banners draping from the ceiling. Bandit, correct. Yep. Iran has been named a Persia since 1935. Yeah, Reza Shah changed it that way. Chillwood said a sitting senator, a sitting senator broke a civilian's arm. Just wild. What was he thinking? Yeah, yeah, kind of to my point earlier. It's just something that he should have let Capitol Police handle, because now yeah, he's probably going to get sued or something. Persia is a lot. Tep says Persia is a lot cooler than Iran, to be honest. Sleepy time keys. Thank you. Lost my keys. Paul says MAGA back in business. Lost my keys for real says our president in South Africa is planning to talk to Trump to allow Trump to understand that dialogue is better than a war. But I don't know because our president can't even focus on his own country of South Africa. 578 says awesome content, man. I subbed. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. I truly do, man. Thank you so much. We're building something excellent here. Glad that you are a part of it. Assume, I can't pronounce it, but .1, knock knock, MF. This is the United States of America. MAGA stands on business, says sleepy time. Z says answer the question, destroyer. Ken says I knew a few people from Iran and they say they are Persian. Darren says, have you seen my baseball? Very cool. Good morning from Good morning, Frank. Good morning from California. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We are here in Washington, D.C. today. Emma says our service members don't need to die for Israel. Darren says, and Iran so far away. 578 says, thank you, Sleepy. Darren says, America first. Zach says, I asked an Israeli what happened when the bombs were following. They said Iran, LOL. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Commentary says millions of Iranian refugees heading for Europe once civil war kicks off in Iran. Emma says, or Tep says at Emma, hell no, they don't. Nice Sears, sucker. Soup bro says too cool. Thank you. Do another fit check for the new people. We're all purple. It's Purple Friday, baby. It's our favorite day. Shouldn't say favorite day of the week. Awoken Wednesday is our favorite day of the week. Every Wednesday is our biggest show of the week at 8:15 in the evenings. Striker or Bandit says, everyone like and sub, please. This channel has some really good content and it's only going to get better. Thank you very much. Yeah, I echo Bandit's request. Thank you very much, Bandit. Yeah, man, I'm here in DC. Like, here's the Capitol building right here. We're going to walk on the mall a little bit, show you guys some views of the National Mall. But yeah, just a little bit about me for the new people here. Worked in the Senate for 2 years. Started this channel 3 to 4 months ago, and in hopes of generating a mass awakening of just everyday Americans who are upset at, or really who are already upset, but also kind of suspect there's something just more else there than why we all know like why Washington's broken, right? We know it's every politician says, send me a Washington and I'll fix it. And nothing really ever, yeah, it's the same song and dance every time. I feel like if we get Americans from all over the country and even make it international, right? We can do something here. So, on board. I have lots of connections to my friends that work in the Senate and in the agencies, so we can relay information, right? We can get stuff out there as well, and really try and save our country. So, Yeah, Z, I agree. So on some of the streams earlier this week, approval was closer to about 35%. It was more in the mid 30s than the high 30s to the low 40s for approval. So I think there's a higher volume of people on the stream today. We're already at 314 votes, so we're doing quite well. Yeah, here's the U.S. Capitol, everybody. And then right over here, you have the Washington Monument. You have the National Mall, right? It's like Prostate Cancer Awareness Month or week or something like that. So these flags are meant to represent people who have passed away of pancreatic and correlateral or cancer. Mike says, ask them what stock about to boom. Yeah. Yeah, I would need a Pelosi for that one. Yeah, DC, it is a little quiet this morning. Even like around, yeah, we're on Capitol Hill essentially right now, and it's still a little. I think the gloomy weather has kept a lot of people inside for the time being. Yeah, the chat is definitely, yeah, it's quite different today than some past days. Anthony Reed says term limits for congressmen. That's a good start, I believe. Bandit says, at poll, this channel is about shining a light on what's going on in DC. It's much needed. Thank you very much. Bear says, what's the video on the history of Iran called? I believe it's called How We Got to the Iran War in 2026. It's if you go to the live stream tab, it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes long, I believe. So last night I got some clips ready, so there should be some clips firing out today. But then tonight, once I get home from happy hour, I will edit. I'll break down the 2 hour long video and break into like 10 or 15 minute shorter episodes for people. Because sometimes those can, when we're trying to find new people to join the movement, those videos can sometimes get a little more traction than like a 2 hour long video, right? Destroyer says it looks like the Ambius and Pyongyang, or yeah, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Frank Aguilar says it's 6:44 a.m. here in California, so the rest of the country is starting to wake up. Maybe that's why your numbers reflect the question that was posted. Yeah, good point. Mike's poop emoji. Yeah, your poop is telling you something. So Hotel says praise Trump for his hard work. Droid says Baron Trump should be drafted to fight in the war. Ken says people must have awoken early today. Absolutely, yeah. People are awoken today. That's the goal here. 5518. Nice name. Did you get that name from the news clip? The person who submitted that their birthday submitted it was their birthday and they made the name Hugh Janus. That's a good one. That made me think of that clip immediately, at least. Droid says for once. Skinny Tub says, sure, Congress will vote for term limits for Congress. Right, yeah, it's going to be tough to get for people who want to delete themselves, pretty much. Bear says, thank you. Frank says, at Droid, there's no more draft. Tub says, sure. Frank says, everyone in our services, women and men, are all volunteers. They knew what was in store when they signed up. They knew the possibilities. So, and then Destroyer says people living in this district can't vote, right? So they can, they can vote for president. They get 3 electoral college votes, but they do not have a voting member in the Senate or the House. They have a representative in the House that can only vote on committee, but she cannot vote on legislation. So, and there's a city council and a mayor here as well. Let's see. Z says I still haven't been to bed. Let's see. Lost my keys for real. Lost my car keys the day I made this name. But yeah, I eventually got that situation resolved. That's funny. Well, not funny you lost your keys, but funny story for creating your name, I should say. Where did you find your keys? Bear says, found it. I was looking under the video tab. I watched it today. All right, awesome. Thank you. And maybe I should just, it also maybe wouldn't hurt if I just re-upload the live streams as videos as well. Because yeah, sometimes like after the live, maybe people don't check the live tab as much. Yeah, maybe I can start doing that here. 7544 says support peace. Absolutely. Yeah, we desire peace in the world. And Lost My Key says, well, a kind cashier returned it to me. I mistakenly left it on the counter whilst paying for stuff. Yeah. And Sleepy Time agrees. Yes, I should leave the lives as videos as well. Awesome. Well, yeah, once I have time today, I'll re-upload the live as a standard video as well. Here, we'll do a quick little chat or a quick little aerial view of the streets here of the mall. So now we're on the Washington Mall. And there's only a couple people out. And usually, even for example, let's say, like on Fridays, right? Field trips from all the schools around Maryland and Virginia and within DC will go to one of the museums for a fun day or something of that matter. So, yeah, it's usually not this empty, but on Saturday when we covered the protest, it was probably the most people I've seen on the mall for a while or on the mall for since like late last summer to early fall. Um, America since 1776, if you build something people want, they will try and come and take it away from you. Says peace is an illusion. Odd said day 6 of Operation APAC Fury. Ken says no homeless anymore. So when I moved here in 2023, the homeless situation was a lot worse. And then probably within a year, I'd say early to mid 2024, it was a lot better. Because when I moved here, there weren't homeless on the mall necessarily, but there were homeless just a couple of blocks away. But now those encampments have been moved. They were either deported to like Baltimore or somewhere further out and away. So yeah, I think they were deported or something of that nature. Fred says no. Droid says this is what APAC paid for. APAC Fury, accurate description. What's your take on the Anthropic situation? Yeah, that's another good one. So I've been also thinking about doing an episode on AI just in general and how it's like within our government now, right? Because Anthropic said what the government, they wanted Anthropic to militarize or can create like a mass surveillance state or something. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. I need to read up a little more on it, but that is pretty crazy. APAC Fury, accurate description. APAC Fury is hilarious. Did you see the Tim Sheehy abuse? The veteran, sad to say, that's my congressman. Yeah, man. Yeah, we talked about that a couple minutes ago, but that was insane. Like for him to make a conscious decision to get up and intervene in something like that is something that not advisable. Pretty silly move, I think, because now he's just going to get sued out the wazoo. So, 578 says because it's true. Destroyer says now they are jerky. Mark Schwartz 5218 says hello, Mark. Thank you very much for joining the stream this morning. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Hope you have a great weekend. Would love if all of you subscribe to the channel. We're building something massive and great here. Destroy says deported to Baltimore, LOL. Yeah, I've been to Baltimore a couple times since I've been here. And man, I thought the homeless situation was bad in DC. In Baltimore, I'm talking about rib cages. It looks like these people haven't ate in months. Some of these people, like they're hunched over. They have some makeshift walker. And just a pretty grim situation, I'd say, for a lot of the homeless deal in population. And John says, so you just ignore comments you don't like? Nice. I think I try to read all of them. Sometimes YouTube will skim out comments, so they kind of get intercepted before they make it to this screen. So if there's a comment that I haven't responded to that you sent, maybe try changing some of the letters or keywords so it gets through. Frank says, John, boo. Boo, who are you, a ghost? Frank says, or lost, actually here, let's go to, Z asked, did you ever get a chance to read up on the NPX Dark Enlightenment? Yes, I I was able to go over it briefly the other day, like the day after, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday, I think we talked about it. And yeah, it's pretty, I still don't have a great grasp on it, but I understand a lot more now. I need to keep digging though. I need to listen to that Tucker Carlson podcast. I have it in my queues. John says Tweaker Geographic. Lost my keys for real says, I bet Tim Sheehy ain't going to be doing anything too heroic anymore. Yeah, I bet his counsel is going to say you should never get involved in any Capitol Police situation ever again. I think that's very likely for the Montana senator. Misfit Soldier says, glory to Israel. Mike says, I was looking for a job in that area. Bick Rip says, deletes them too. Yeah, so like YouTube will just, they won't even make the stage. So if there's something that's like very vulgar or whatever, I just won't be able to see it. So. So, yeah, try not to ignore anything that reaches my screen, though. So, Misfit Tubbs says, speculation, Frank, is all you have. Misfit Soldier says, invest in real estate, Iran. 578 says, don't be sensitive, Skinny. He wasn't writing that to you. Or Skin, yeah, I'll start calling you Skinny, not Tubbs now. Z says, John, that is the first comment I've seen from you. GYLAIF says, Peninsular Malaysia shares land and maritime borders with Thailand, as well as maritime during World War II. British Malaysia, along with other nearby British and American colonies, were gay. Destroyer says, so Baltimore is the poor man's Skid Row. It's not great up there at all. Like, I'm not, and I don't think it's improved either. But it's definitely worse than DC for sure. DC, it's gotten better even since I moved here. I'll give, I'm not the biggest fan of the mayor, but I'll give her a little credit. She made it illegal to sleep on national parks and essentially any grass. So like this is technically a national park right here. So like the National Mall, National Park, made it illegal for people to sleep on it. And that's what caused a lot of the homeless to kind of be sent away, I should say. Okay, Skinny says, speculation useless. When the Mary enters someone's house and they say this house wanted to be free, and they/them is a lesbian. Tucker/Jocko 2028. Tweaker Geographic was Ari Baltimore, by the way. Okay, yeah. Okay, gotcha. No to war in Iran. I'm sure he regrets it now. People do stupid things sometimes. Right, yeah, he's definitely learned his lesson. I agree there, Bandit. Marky says, can I support neither side? Both suck. One is actively repressing their people for years. The other is covering up the biggest PDF ring in history. Lost my key says, well, it's my first time on the channel and you haven't ignored any of my texts. So I appreciate it, and that's why I subscribed. Thank you very much. I appreciate you very much. Thank you. And forced login. This is the first comment I saw from you. Your ha ha ha. This dipshit skipped my comment with laughing face emojis. So try to retype it with different keywords, or maybe make letters instead of or numbers instead of letters or something. Conscious observation. Yes, you can support either side. Good point. Did they ever do anything with the Keys Bridge in Baltimore? You know what? I don't think it's fixed. I still think it's broken or destroyed. So I don't think they've made any major changes when it comes to that. 7427 says Trump with a bunch of poop emojis. Powwow 44 says hi. Hello, Powwow. Happy to have you on the stream this morning. Good morning. Rob's Pierre says it doesn't really matter if I support it or not. It's happening. And Hans Archive says biggest PDF in history is a Prophet Muhammad. More poop emojis from 7427. Hans Archive. Yeah, for some reason that made it. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Well, I guess the comment biggest PDF in history isn't really a something that would be flagged. And Z says YouTube's filter is ridiculous. I have so many comments get blocked for no reason. Yeah, I wonder. And I've looked on it on my side, and I don't think I can make it any. It's already at the least secure out of all of the options. So, yeah, I'll see if I can. Maybe once the channel enlarges further, I'll have more options when it comes to that. But maybe it's because the channel is relatively new. That's the only reason I can think of. Michael Danger says some words get caught in their net regardless of context. Okay, yeah, we're going to ban the poop guy. All right, sorry, 7427. All right, you have one more chance to stop doing a bunch of poop emojis, or we're going to have to kick you out, okay? Any mods in the chat, Marky says? No, not right now. I need to work on getting that. So right now I've been trying to, this is one of the busier streams I'll admit I've ever had actually for one of these, just walking around DC. So it's usually been to the point where I've been able to kind of handle it myself. Okay, sorry, 7427, we gotta kick you out. Okay. All right, we put the poop guy in timeout. Okay, so yeah, so we got that. DeClown says my cat says hello to your cat. A happy Friday to you guys. Hope you have some fun weekend plans set up. Sleepy Time says Mark yes. Illuminator 128 Trump trophy USA flag. They are silent mods. True, yeah, I guess the YouTube kind of net stuff regardless. Good point there. Hans Archive says, okay, Z says it's not just your stream, it's every stream. Okay, so that makes a little more sense then. Hans Archive says, I'll buy you a ticket to Iran. A Sleepy Time video says, make me a moderator. Who did Nicki Minaj call an assassin? Skinny says, no more poop emoji. Definitely if certain keywords are detected, it instantly gets wiped. It's so annoying. I am normal, and I can be trusted moderate. Okay, so here, let's do... Ken, really? I'm up at 450. That means we've gained 20 subscribers on the stream alone. Wow, that's amazing. Wow, this is a great stream. Yeah, we're going to keep going then, as long as we can. Okay, and let's, so yeah, got a couple other, Trosway says the poop. Happy Friday, Trosway. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you here this morning. Bandit says there are no rules against being an adult. Finally, that was annoying. Good. Yeah, bye. What's the problem with opposing then? Claude asks, what's the problem with opposing then Yahoo? Let's flush the poop guy. You can't time out Israel attacking Iran. Black MAGA USA. Let's go. Here. All right. Lost my key sets. I gotta go. All right. Take care, brother. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate your support. Sleepy Time says, thank you, brother. No poop heads in the chat, please. Anyone opposing is not the problem. Spamming that the chat is childish. Congrats on 400 plus. Thank you very much. Dorothy says, hello, Dorothy. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you joining the stream this morning. Welcome to the Awoken. We're building a pretty fun community here, I will say. Lots of very great people that I've met in the recent weeks since starting this channel. Jim says, I support your journey. I'm not gay, but I appreciate the kind, if it was kind words, I appreciate the kind words. That's good shit, man. Nice job, brother. Thank you for the compliments, everybody, for 400 subs. So what do I usually do on the stream? So I kind of have 3 different kind of streams. How do you do? In the mornings, oftentimes I'll walk around DC, and it's really just for me chatting and getting to know you guys more or less. Like on Tuesday, I sat at a coffee shop. We walked around for an hour, and then I did work for like 3 hours, and we chatted for like 4 hours straight. So that's one method. Like yesterday, we were in the Senate for an hour, right? We just kind of go different places in DC. Then every Tuesday and Wednesday night, I have what I call the anchor show where I make like PowerPoint slides are about some kind of relevant topic. I do a lot of research into that topic, and I kind of present my findings, and we have a conversation that way. That's more of the podcast side of it, right? That you can kind of listen to it at your job the next day, or if you watch it live, or when you're working out, something of that nature. And then on usually weekends, but sometimes at random times, if I find out there's like a protest occurring, I'll cover the protest. So we'll do man on the street interviews. We'll talk with people at these protests, see what their thoughts are, and stuff like that, and just kind of whatever's happening in Washington, D.C. as well. So got a little 3-way system that's working right now. Here, let's go. Let's read some of these comments. 578 says, amen, Frank. What would be your topic in this stream? So, like, for these streams, we talked about the kind of war in Iran. Also talked about Kristi Noem. Haven't talked about Kristi Noem that much, so we can talk about Kristi Noem and DHS a little bit. We talked about the Tim Sheehy incident that occurred 2 days ago. But maybe for more like topic for these is really me chatting with you guys and answering any questions you guys may have as well. But for Tuesday or Wednesday, I researched the Kurds because I don't know a whole lot about the Kurds, and I know that there's talks about them providing support as a ground force in the war in Iran. So I want to learn about the history of the Kurds, so I may do that for this week. But I'm also, now that we have well over 400 subscribers now, I'll probably put out a community poll in the chat with a couple of options on the community side of, like when you go to someone's page and hit community or like posts or whatever, I'll probably put a chat out and see, let you guys pick. I'll have a couple options in mind, but kind of let you guys decide a little bit as well. So get some community engagement there as well. So very good question though. Let's see. Alice No says, I like weird religious streams. For these streams, yeah, we just kind of talk politics, talk about what's going on. Usually sometimes if someone asks a good question, I'll answer the question for like 5 or 10 minutes straight. And that's kind of maybe the top, you know what I mean? Cole Odds, are you an Owen Schroyer enjoyer? I know Owen, not personally. I know his streams. Yeah, he used to be with Alex on InfoWars, right? And he went independent, probably 5 months ago, maybe now or something like that, maybe a half year ago. So, yeah, I'll pop into Owen stuff every now and then. I like Owen. Destroyer says, Alice knows what's up. Jim says, thanks for quality content and positivity. I enjoyed watching your stream while taking my morning dump. Absolutely, yeah. There was a lot of poop emojis here earlier, and all those blue flags down there had to do with poop as well. So that seems to be a common topic on the stream this morning. Mark says, interesting. Do you push an agenda? Here, that lawnmower's too loud. Do you push an agenda or actually open to discussion? Yeah, discussion is the name of the game. So my only agenda is America first. The policies that benefit America, that prioritize America first over the special interests, foreign lobbying, anything like that. So it's not really a traditional liberal or conservative or viewpoint like that. It's always what we need to do as the masses. That's why a lot of the viewers, like I'd say there's more right-wing viewers here. Personally, I'm right-wing, like the senator I worked for was a Republican. Personally, my personal leanings are right-wing. But that's why even some of the viewers are left-wing as well, because it's like the main objective is to have the ideas and policies that put America first win out and be the priority for Washington. Crypto says, King Solomon's pact with the 72 demons is coming to an end. The 72 demons promised this betrayal 3,000 years ago. Destroyer says, that's how MAGA does it. Curly asked, did you see Donald's minion break that veteran's arm? Oh, yes, we were talking about that earlier today. Pretty crazy stuff, isn't it? Z Markey, he seems very open to discussion. Muhammad 261 says, a bunch of Israeli and America flags with hearts. Frank says, Kristi Noem did a great job up to the point where she let go, but Trump appointed her to a new position. So there you go. What are your feelings about Jasmine Crockett? Anyone here like Jasmine Crockett from Texas? She no longer in Congress forever in my Sandlot voice forever. So we talked about on the show, we did a Texas election preview last week with my buddy who is a reporter for the Eponich Times here in Washington, D.C. Very professional, smart guy. He's been covering the Texas elections for the last 4 or 5 months, expert on the matter. And he predicted that Crockett would go down. He has his thumb on the pulse. Alice says, Kristi, you're fired. Jim says there's a lot of chicken hawks in America, isn't there? Marky says, I'm surprised. Seems like a sane streamer, the first I've seen on YouTube. Well, yeah, that's honestly, yeah, like I want to build it. Like, I actually want to win. Being in DC a couple years now, it's losing like this stinks all the time. It's just not fun. I see the country as, I feel like the country is dying in real time, and that there's only so much time to try and reverse this stuff that's been happening in the past couple years, decades even. So that's why I started the channel. I will discuss and work with anyone who wants to put America first. That's the name of the game. We're not loyal to a political party or an individual. We're loyal to what we believe in, and our country and our ideals. 261 said Iranian are Irani, not Kurd. Krusty's new job is bringing Donald his Diet Coke. Z says it's very refreshing, Marky. Sleepy Time says, hey, brother, I got to go off here and make a few phone calls. I'll be back if you're still on. See you all later, everyone. Okay, Sleepy. Much love. See you later. Have a great day if I don't see you. Bandit says later. Sleepy 261 says more Israeli flags with hearts. 578 says, if APAC offered you $7,500 for every video you post, would you take the money? No, I would never sell myself out to them or anybody, really. Yeah, I'm here for you guys. I'm here to try and be as supportive as a voice that I can in Washington, D.C., show you guys what's actually happening, and that I promise I'll never sell you guys out. And you guys are what keeps me going, literally. So you always have that. I will remain loyal to the Awoken. Ken says later, Sleepy. Destroyer says Sweden sympathizes with Kurds, but Turkey considers them. That's a divide in NATO. So yeah, that's a good point. And that's why I want to learn about them a little bit. It's because I know Turkey isn't particularly on board with the Kurds, right? They're rivals. So absolutely there. That's why I think I want to do the Kurds. Jim says America first through the buffet line. Alice says God bless y'all. V96, LMAO, America first to the buffet line. It was a funny comment. Maxine Waters, she needs to go. Yeah, she's been around, gosh, decades, right? She's been around a long time. 261 says Trump the Lion. 4987, loyal to the Star of David. I've been loving witnessing the Overton window get completely blown out over the past year and a half. Previously, forbidden topics have been thrust into the mainstream. Right, yeah. Everything is being discussed, right? Nothing is off of the table anymore, it seems like. 578 says they offered that amount to a lot of streamers. I haven't been paid, so they're suing the government or whatever. Like, pretty funny stuff there. Excuse me. Jim says Trump seems like some kind of dog whistle for morons. 4987 says another Israeli related comment. Amen, brother, says Sleepy Time. V96 says you guys have a king and he's called POTUS and it's a kingship. Tep says I've returned. What's up? Welcome back, Tep. Happy to have you here on the stream. Yo, Bandit. Man, BX8WO says XYT. We don't care what non-Americans think. 578 says hell yeah. Agreed. So true. At man BX8WL. The golden, and Frank says the golden rule in Washington, D.C. is to never sell yourself out, never prostitute out your integrity. Of course, all random people wouldn't know that. And Tep says, I think Trump, the wolf in sheep's clothing is more accurate, but stay tuned. A V9P says, what's the Overton window? Uh, Kevin says Free Palestine. Marky says Kurds are an older group in the region. Unfortunately, they are repressed for actively being targeted in Iran and Iraq. Overton windows the range of topics considered kosher, says Z. 578 says, yeah, we get it. 261 no spamming in the chat. Muhammad says free Iran. Well, so I know what you're saying, 4987. I just don't want to, yeah, I acknowledge it. I just don't want to, I'm not sure if, I don't want to get banned or anything like that. Especially with the time I put in now, you just never know. But I do acknowledge, I still try and acknowledge your chats the best I can. Yeah, I would just hate for something to happen because I think we both have an idea. But yeah, I understand your point though. Bandit says, yep, Mark, a people without a country. Tep says it's all just Sunni and Shia versus the Jews versus Christians. Like always, nothing has changed. Succession isn't good for any country, let alone Turkey at this point. LJ says, hello, LJ. Thank you for joining the stream this morning. Appreciate you being here. Everybody, if it's your first time on the stream, would love if you left the video a like, subscribe to the channel as well, share this with your friends. I go live several times a week, just like this, talking with you guys, getting to know you guys a little better. Definitely appreciate the support I've received this morning already. So thank you guys very much. Mirror says, end the war. Z says, nah, you're spamming. It's not about disagreeing. Also says to learn English. Ground war has already started. Azerbaijan and Kurds. And 261 says, I love Israel and U.S. as an Iranian. What's wrong with that? Need to make my coffee and my breakfast. I'll be back. Hopefully you'll still be on. All right, awesome. Yeah, hope you have a good rest of your morning. Thank you for tuning into the stream. Would love if you subscribe so you can join the next one. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Marky says, what's your point? Tep says, it's not what you're saying. It's that you keep saying it. It is annoying, brother. Cool, we get it the first time. You don't have to send it 15 times. Yeah. David Moore, welcome back, David Moore. Happy to have you on the stream. Good morning, brother. I guess David Moore has been he has been on the channel for a long time as well. I'll do a little wrap around where we are here on the National Mall. Faces of the Human Race says, looks like New England. Topic is about Iran, and I write my opinion. And PYG says free Iran with the lion. Yeah, you got Washington, a monument over here. 364 says, I remember the 2016 Trump, nothing like this Trump he's bought and paid for. Marky says, so you reckon this war is just a distraction from the PDF files? Timing seems a little sus. I will say both times. So even when we bombed Iran last June, I believe that's when the DOJ said the Epstein files didn't exist. And then we bombed Iran the next week. So funny coincidences both times. But I will say I don't think the files are going to go away necessarily, though. because I think there's a critical mass that will remain interested in them and attempt to, because here's the thing, like this war, conflict, whatever term we want to call it, will kind of, in terms of everyday media, will kind of die down a little. Like, we'll still hear about it every day as long as we're over there or involved in this. But especially once we hit the summer, once we start getting to late summer, we're going to be hearing about the files, I'd say, especially from Democrats, because they're probably going to try and use that as their campaign issues, my guess. And depending on how this war/conflict goes as well, in Iran, they may try to tag team those two issues. So some big stuff there for sure. I can't get this hair to stay down. I'm walking back in the window, so it's just going to kind of be popping up. Okay, got a couple of... Marky says, seems to be a lot of consciousness when it comes to this topic. Yeah, I did a whole episode on the Epstein files a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, you should check that out as well. And Christopher Smith says war is awful, but for the mullahs, far worse. David Moore says the files and the people that are on it are not going to go away. The system is still going to stay as it is. Sad to say, no one's going to be prosecuted. Probably, sadly. And that's kind of another realization I realized in DC, is that everyone, it's just a big club and we're not really in it. And they're just going to protect themselves. So, all right, Destroyer, take care. Would love if you subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, definitely would love to have you back next time. But peace out, though, brother. Stay safe out there. Z says, I really don't care about the files, but did you see where there is a blank area spanning December 99 to December 2001? Very odd. A Flesh Simulator has video on it with data visualization. David says a lot of people, both sides are in the files, and a lot of people in the news media, host celebrities, politicians, and even Whoopi Goldberg and Michael Jordan. 261 says Christopher with praying and clapping emojis. And Frank says, I subscribed and I like. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate you, brother. Hope you enjoy that coffee. Stay safe out there in California. Tep says Flesh Simulator is literally in danger, bro. He is putting the press right on him, to be honest. I haven't heard of this guy. Maybe I'll have to check out some. Is he also on YouTube, like another content guy? I'll have to check out some of the stuff he is chatting about. Everybody, good morning. If you're just now joining the stream, we're having a very in-depth conversation today about several different topics. We're out here in Washington, D.C., walking around the National Mall, taking your questions. Our poll, wow, we're at 545 votes for today's poll about supporting the war in Iran. So great there, 546. And Bandit says later, Alden, love your work, bro. Keep it up. Thank you, Bandit. Appreciate your support, man. You've been here for a long time. Thank you so much. 261 says free for free Iran without the mullahs. And yeah, he brings, Tep says he brings facts and light onto every controversial topics. Very informative and educational creator, to be honest. He'll get you put on a list though, Alden. Avoid him like the plague. Okay. I'll keep my eyes and ears out. Thank you for the warning. But yeah, everybody, we're up to 551 votes on the poll today. We are out here walking around DC, chatting with you guys. Happy Purple Friday! Happy Friday! Got the purple fit on today for you guys. Just a little bit about me. Started this channel 3 to 4 months ago, where I cover protests, do man on the street interviews in the country. I also, or in the city, I should say. Also, every Tuesday and Wednesday night, I host a political talk show where we do a deep dive into a interesting topic that's relevant in the news, or maybe it's a country or something else geopolitical. Also do live election coverage. Primary elections are starting to ramp up, so we're going to be doing more and more election coverage here soon. Z says no flesh is good. 42069 says hi from Israel. Thank you for standing with us. Iranian and Marky with eye emojis. 261 says Iranian love Israel. Cobra. Tep says he's good, but this guy makes a living in a political space. I'd hate to see something happen negative due to an online activity, and Flesh Sim will 100% get anyone on a list. 9021, I am not a Jew. I'm not Jewish, no. And 42069 says you guys are next. We already own you guys. 578 believes is a troll. Roman 1117 USA flag shaking hands with the Israeli flag. Yeah, but Alden should be aware of all the facts so he knows how bad it actually is. And then H5C9Q says you are my sunshine. Oh, that's very kind of you. I appreciate that sweet comment. Thank you for being here this morning. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, would love if you give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends that are interested in politics. Ken told us about 20 minutes ago that we are at 415 subscribers, so we're already up 20 new subscribers off of the stream alone, and are maybe we can see how close we can get to 500, because then that's a big deal. Getting up to 500, man. Super chats. Ken says 418 now. Awesome. That's wonderful. Yeah, this is a great stream. We're building here. Trossway says 419 now. All right, awesome. Just got another. Thank you. That's wonderful. Let's see. And David says, in your opinion, who do you think's going to win majority of the House or when the House, Republicans or Democrats? Right now, even with redistricting, the Republicans, they'll probably net 2 or 3 seats from that. But I'd say right now, it's probably looking for the Democrats would take, just every time the party in power, that's in power every time historically loses seats in the House. Just kind of a, just what happens in political history. But with so many seats now being redrawn and not being competitive anymore, there's really only probably about 20 seats that both parties, 20 to 30 seats, I should say, rather, that both parties will spend a lot of time and money in campaign recruiting or candidate quality recruiting in those districts. So, yeah, if it's maybe let's say this Iran stuff breaks in Trump's way, let's say we're out of there in 2 weeks, I think that would probably be a political success for the president, if we meet the objectives, that is, and maybe there's some rally around the flag effect with that, or let's say we're still in Iran coming up in the fall, and then yeah, everything's going bad like in 2006. Then the Democrats would probably do better. So we're still a little ways away from that. Like, we're still trying to figure out who the candidates are going to be. But general read, probably Democrats. But good question, though. But that can always change, right? Lieben says no more wars for Israel. H5C9Q says 1,000 VA medical personnel have been fired by Trump. What's your take on that? Let me check that out a little further. If that's true, then that's certainly probably a bad thing, right? But I would want to read a little more on that because I haven't heard about that yet. Or maybe that happened during Doge a couple of years or like several months ago now, right? So, yeah, we're just gonna have to see what the deal is there. But good question, though. I need to research that a little bit more. Z says everyone hit the like button. At Batty WYIA. We don't know anything about you or your channel yet to subscribe. I have to listen long enough to decide. So, all right, I'll try to do my best to earn your support. Tep says hotboxing my bathroom right now. Nice, dude. Yeah, that's awesome. Mark says LMFAO to Tep's comment. Bad says, no, he said till September. I did see that as well. And that could be, we'll just have to see what the attitude of the country starts kind of becoming, especially if we're hearing, like, if it is till September and it looks like the objectives aren't going to be able to be met, then that really could hurt the Republicans for the fall campaign. Because by around late July, Labor Day time frame, the elections are going to be, we're going to hear about the elections a lot more. So good question. 578 says, do you think Trump has split the Republican Party? I think he has, up to a point. I do agree with that observation. Because there is a part of the party, especially with this issue and the Epstein files, right? Like, there's been more of it has kind of fundamentally been split, honestly, because you have like the president and his campaign and his people that are kind of downplaying the files, downplaying the conflict in Iran, right? Maybe not deny. Well, we know the president and his team said they didn't exist last year, but I'd say he kind of has with this issue, at least. So at like my work and my friends, like we're kind of split on it too, honestly, just in DC. So I would say yes, just through my real life interactions with my buddies here in Washington. Yeah, I think some other people agree. Now let's go to. Yeah, so yeah, I think some people in the chat agree with that observation. Like, yeah, at least through my friend group here in DC, and like, you can see it online as well. That there is some kind of division within the party right now. Deck play by play. Did you poop today? Okay, that's funny. Man, there's been a lot of talk about poop on this stream. My goodness, like 4 to 5 people have like stated that they were actively pooping, and there was a guy that had a bunch of poop emojis. Like, this is this is one of the more wild streams I've ever done. And speaking of poop, so this is like a coratical, colorectal cancer thing. Here's a little sign. And all these people have like symbolized that they've passed away from this disease. So, David Moore says, do you think this is going to drag out like the last wars in the Middle East? Do you know we make money off a war? Watch movie Lord of Wars, Nicolas Cage, great movie. It has the potential to become one of those forever wars, because not only like obviously we're attacking them, they're counterattacking. It's the other Gulf and Arab nations have been, Iran and their initial response wanted to kind of solidify, I'd say, that this would be a more regional conflict, because by attacking the other Gulf nations gets them to the point where, like Mohammed bin Salman wants Saudi Arabia to eventually cease becoming a petrostate, or like having the only economic beneficiary of the country being oil. So he wants tourism, he wants Vision 2030, his smart city he's discussed. And this conflict could delay that. And what Iran is banking on, I think, is trying to get these Gulf nations to pressure the United States and Israel to back off a little bit, to say, hey, yeah, we're losing money, we're losing tourism, we're not going to be able to achieve our objectives when it comes to trying to make our countries less of exclusively a petrostate. So we'll kind of have it. It definitely has a potential, though. WYIA says we still don't know who killed Charlie Kirk, and she is pushing for JD Vance. It's all a mess. Downplaying 86% in the ability to fire at us. Yeah, and like something that, oh yeah, we have attacked them. You know, some of their missile launch platforms certainly have been removed from play. But if we're not in the Pentagon or the head of the IRGC, so it's really tough, honestly, to know all of the cards that are out there. But yeah, like I think they've, at least from what you see online, Iran seemed to have some new missiles they've started firing that seem to be, but Tehran's also taking a beating as well right now. So Badwida, Z is asking Badwida to clarify. Ken says, have a good day, Alden. Rest those tired feet. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, we had a great stream this morning, for real. Like, yeah, if we're around 490, that's excellent. We were at 395 before, so. Anthony Moore, a 9902 says a bunch of kids. Dragon breath, crying face emojis. Oh gosh, yeah, there's been a lot of chat since. I've been talking so long, haven't been able to keep up. It's because, correct, yeah, the hitting the Gulf. Trump was literally indefinitely with proper munition stockpiles. Whether you took part or not, you were complacent in that the fact. I will never vote Democrat, but I'd like to see who runs against Trump. That's a cool opinion, bro. Show me some proof. Cannot. The Gulf is fighting Iran right now. I'm saying that. John Wick says when people pretending to be crazy meet someone pretending to be normal, which is Iran. But his actions so far have been nothing but disgusting. Telling reporters stop talking about it just to let it go is abhorrent behavior. Smart Money Ryan says predictive history. Game theory number 10. Yes, is that the professor, the Chinese professor? I've watched a couple of his episodes. Here, let's not cut this way. I've watched a couple of his episodes last couple of days where I think he predicts that the United States would lose the war to Iran, I believe. And he also, so if you go back to, I think it's episode 9 or 8, he predicts Trump wins. He and predicts he would take us a war with Iran, and he predicts we would lose the war to Iran as well. So, yeah, pretty interesting guy. I have seen some of his stuff before. 5583, hey, how's it going? Ready for totally effective regime change, just like we did all the other times. Z and David Moore are talking about the Epstein files. H5C9Q, why hire them in just the first place? What's going to fire them in 2 years? Doesn't make sense. Who predicts? And Lone Wolf says America first. Yep, we are America first on this channel, baby. So, hey, everybody, if you're just now joining the stream, would love if you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're having a wonderful conversation here, just all about politics. Very fun. Okay, so let's go to some of the questions here. So I believe Bad WYIA mentioned like the Charlie Kirk situation. I've talked about that a little bit before on former streams, but I'll mention it a little bit again here. I do agree with you that it is, it's strange that the push for Vance, right? It's there's something different about Vance, I think. It just doesn't feel natural that already he's kind of being crowned the presumptive nominee before the midterms even. And like, I just think it's a little strange. So I think you make a good point about Vance there as well. 5583 says Kirk died because he would have taken people away from war support. Richard Kelly says Rubio 28. David Moore 7,110. You don't see any correlation in it. So I think with the Epstein files, like I did an episode on the Epstein files a couple weeks ago now, and I think Z makes a point because if everyone mentioned in the files was like automatically guilty, then there's even like I think Ron Paul was mentioned in the files a couple times, but it was just about him being like a presidential candidate, right? But definitely some like people like Howard Lutnick. Yeah, there needs to be further investigation into that guy. Definitely like Bill Gates and whatnot. Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a lot of creepy stuff, creepy people in those files for sure. Uh, yeah, people agreeing that Erica Kirk didn't seem too distraught or honeypot. We know Charlie Kirk, at least privately, I think tried to oppose the June 2025 strikes against Iran's nuclear capabilities and facilities. And I think he was responding to his base a lot of the times about Israel, because as as people and the younger demographic are becoming less and less pro-Israel, he had to, in order to stay relevant to his base, he had to start at least seeming skeptical or something of that matter, or he just would have lost everything, right? And him being a true First Amendment guy, right? I know there was pressure about him having Tucker Carlson at like the Turning Point USA events as well. And Charlie chose to lose money from donors rather than kick Carlson off of the speaking platform. So, yeah, there was definitely some tension there for sure. And I think Erica Kirk, wasn't she in like pageants, or she has some kind of background that that maybe makes her a little, I don't know, like I've never lost a spouse or anything like that, so I can't really like truly go through what it's like to lose someone like that. So I'm not going to go like and say, wow, but like it does seem, I don't know, it seems abnormal, right? Because we see, and something else that's kind of weird is, like maybe you'd think she'd act more like Savannah Guthrie, right? Her mother just got abducted, probably dead, right? Like there's probably very little odds of that lady still being alive. So, and she looks distraught every time on camera, right? So, yeah, we're just gonna have to see there. Bad says she wanted power and fame forever. Green says donors kiss the Roman wall in Jerusalem. The end of times brigade. Dial up 5583 says, yeah, the Minaj thing was an insult to Charlie. Right, yeah, that was pretty wild at that event, last December. Moore says, sounds like a Kamala Harris implant. Bad says, I've lost people, lots of people sacrificed people for their benefit. Oh, does it say I'm muted? Are you guys able to hear me? Here, let's try this. Here, let me reconnect my microphone. Okay, great, awesome. There we go. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Dial up, it's only 1% of them, though. Not all of them are bad. Remember that. We can hear you good. Okay. All right, awesome. Thank you. And the charges against Obama. Awesome, guys. Yeah, this is a great stream, guys. Like, I'm really, this has been a lot of fun. We're still going to be on a little bit longer. Yeah, we're back at the U.S. Capitol, though. Here's a little snapshot for you. Out here walking around, so. Yeah, everybody, this has been great. If it's your first time on the channel, would love if you hit that subscribe button. Though hopefully I've earned some of your guys' support through this. So through this stream, hopefully I can encourage you to come back to the next streams as well. We are tomorrow probably hit up a protest, do man on the street interviews for sure there. We have clips, got clips firing out today from the Iran episode that we did Wednesday evening. So happy to share those with you guys there. Yeah, I would love if you guys left the video a like and subscribed. That's the best way you can do to support our channel. We are building the mass awakening every single day we're grinding. This is the 4th time I've gone live in the morning, just kind of walking around the city for you guys. Badass, what are you doing walking around out there? Really just streaming, getting to know you guys a little bit better. And right now I'm walking to my work. I do have a day job, still got to pay the bills for now. We're getting close to monetization though on the YouTube though. Once we get to 500 and so many watch hours, I can start receiving super chats. So we're getting there quickly. Yes, I work just a few blocks away from the Capitol. Yeah, just a couple minutes away. Here, let's get another view. This looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Yes, I do work in politics. I've been in, before I moved to DC, worked on campaigns back in Indiana. That's the state I'm from. Then I moved out here. Gosh, yeah, I'm gonna have to do my hair again at work. But moved out here and worked in the Senate for 2 years for a United States Senator from Indiana. And now I'm doing this channel to build the mass awakening because I've learned so much in the Senate through all my other political experience to where that this country isn't putting America first. Brian says America is circling the drain. Dial-up says make America first again. And adds the axe convicted the trees. He was one of them because his handle was made of wood. War is prescribed in the Bible, says my old name. Gomez says world's largest retirement home. Yes, and most glorified retirement home as well. Some crazy stuff there. Mark says, you're washed up, dude. Smelly Balls says, are you America first? Yes, absolutely. We need an America first agenda to deliver for our people. Dial-up says, we still can't have open borders, outright bigotry, or Tide Pods kids, hormone edition. Bad asks, what's my job right now? So I'm involved in a company. We helped ensure campaign compliance and tax records, and help a bunch of nonprofits in the DC area. I'll make sure their finances are all tidy and whatnot. Oh wow! Look at all these geese. Very cool. Okay, let's get back to some comments. That's why I'm an anarcho syndicalist, buddy. Ghost says, no way, it's taxpayers' money for Israel first. What's my old name? Jesus Christ goes in paradise. Z says, lots of room temp IQs here. David says, always been America first, but when are they ever going to put us first? Bad says, yeah, we know they put us last. No, I wouldn't say I'm in the Groyper movement. I just think through working in Congress and working in DC, anything that any politician or policy that puts anything other than America first is just absolutely unacceptable, and I won't stand for it. This doesn't mean having campaigns against different groups of people or stuff like that. It's really to build a mass awakening to where, hey, if our veterans are sleeping on the streets and we're sending money for like PEPFAR is a program that United States taxpayer dollars goes to preventing AIDS in Africa. It's like hundreds of millions of dollars each year, I believe it is. And we have veterans sleeping in the streets. What is that program doing for us, right? Why are we sending all of this money so Africans don't get AIDS? Or no matter where, any foreign money, I think, is unacceptable. So good question, though. Fred says, good morning, Fred. Thank you for joining the stream this morning. Happy Purple Friday. Glad that you're here. Z says he has to hide his power level. Dial Up says, and they might get votes. Mark says, how long have you been homeless? Yeah, I need a haircut, and when it's windy, it will make my hair look like I'm homeless and that I'm a mess. So, funny question. At Z says, base in all caps. Bad says, not sure who all is involved with America First. And also Nick Fuentes is America First. Yeah, I'd say that's his, that's kind of his deal. I don't want to get in any public disputes with him or his movement, right? I want to build my own movement and show through a different kind of lens, right? We know Nick, to my knowledge, he hasn't worked on Capitol Hill and stuff like that, right? I believe he's maybe done some stuff in politics before, but not at the same, a different style of politics, right? So I want to craft my own lane, absolutely, and support. I just think anything that's not America First is just absolutely unacceptable. Well, that's kind of my stance on it. What my own name says, the ducks are so beautiful. Dial Up says Nick popularized the term, but he can't be trusted. The term should be used, I think, though. Right. And then Bad says, that's why I'm confused. Smelly Ball says elite human capital. Bad says, so you're not with Nick. No, Nick and I don't, he doesn't know who I am. So no, yeah, we're doing our own thing. David says, Nick Fuentes creates too much division. This is United States. When we learn to come together, anything is possible. Smelly Ball says, got to hide his power level. Z says he's aligned. That's all that matters. And Bad says, yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be homeless or pay for college or healthcare. Right, yeah, if we're sending our money to Israel and they have free college and free healthcare, then how's that fair to us at all when people go into medical debt? Like, if it's snowing out, if it's icy outside and you're walking to your car or go to your job that doesn't even pay that well and you fall and break your hip, you're going to be bankrupt probably. So I just think that's ridiculous, in my opinion. Bad says Saudi Arabia has free college for citizens and others. Saudi Arabia is also a desert. Let's see. Smelly Butt, are you for a total immigration moratorium? I think there has to be some kind of, maybe for a period of time, because right now it's just so chaotic. And young people that are going to college are not, if they do get a job, it's not really for what they went for. And with H-1Bs and other immigration practices used to bring in workers for cheaper, I think that's a problem. So there needs to be some kind, there has to be something. So my personal proposal is every 10,000 illegal aliens deported, one legal immigrant can come in. I announced that on the Minneapolis on Edge live stream a couple months ago for that. So that's my personal proposal, is that every 10,000 illegals deported, one legal can gain entry. What's my old name? You need go and politician. Itchy Brian says, America flag, amen. Dial Up says, and once these corps see the tax loopholes and yearly budget will balloon. Big Whale Lapoon says our image wasn't so great in the first place. Grandmaster says, hey man, I'm busy these days, so was not able to join your stream. By the way, how are you? Yeah, man, I'm doing great. Welcome back. Yeah, man, you're busy. You gotta grind. Yeah, man, we gotta do what's best for ourselves and advance ourselves, make ourselves stronger. So, but yeah, glad to have you back. I'm doing well. Hope you've been doing good as well. Bad says we are seen as number one country, yet we don't get number one treatment. Got a couple of emojis, Starboy the Night, Unity emojis. Skinny says, Starboy visit Master Chai Gaming. Bad says, what does being the desert have to do with the desert? Or the conditions of that one is that, and for example, they have a degree. I didn't lay out specific conditions for the one, just more of a ideal, like somebody implied that like, hey, this is somebody that can like help us win the AI race against China, or cure cancer, right? Some like a exceptional human or something like that. Bear says, I know a girl, 100,000 in student debt, and works in a factory making dog treats because it pays more than entry level in the field she studied for.